glad to have you here because you probably take as much or more flack about your haircut than I do, and it's, you know, I feel like we're partners in this thing. Glad to see you. First of all, let's talk about the album. I mentioned that it was special, and I've talked to Jody Watley here about it. Talk a little bit.
What do you want to know?
Well, tell them anything you think they should know about that album.
Oh, God.
'Cause I'm sure if you did it, you probably feel that it's an important cause, and it's important to you, maybe?
Well, it's what it is. It's a collection of Cole Porter songs, as you know, and it's done by a whole collection of different artists like U2, Jungle Brothers, and K.D. Lang, and myself, Iggy Pop, and Debbie Harry, and all of that. The whole idea behind it is that, in particular, to speak to young people about educating themselves about AIDS and how not to catch it and how to be much more compassionate with those people that do have it, and how not to convince themselves that AIDS is something that's restricted to gay people and drug abusers. And the logic behind it is that people are more likely to listen to, you know, musicians than, you know, politicians about these things. You know, like the woman that organises is a woman called Lee Blake, and her attitude was that people want to hear what Nana Cherry has to say about AIDS. They don't really want to hear what Margaret Thatcher has to say about it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear what she has to say about AIDS. Yeah.
I'm glad they're applauding because I was hoping they could hear, you know? Because I was like...
Quietly.
With all the controversy that you've had to deal with, the Andrew Dice Clay thing, the national anthem thing, what would you like to tell people watching about yourself? What would you like them to understand and know about Sinead?
That I'm a human being, that I'm not a rock star, and that I don't want to be treated like one, and I don't want to be looked upon as being one. It's an accident that I'm famous. I didn't set out to be. It just so happens that Nothing Compares to You did really well. So what I would say is that I'm a human being, and as such, I'm also very young, and I, as a result of being famous, do all my growing up in public. You know what I mean? So, you know, there are bound to be things that I'll do, and I'm not referring to the national anthem thing that I will later regret. There are bound to be things that I would, you know, I'd probably do in a different way now than I did 6 months ago, you know what I mean? It's like, but, you know, I'm a human being, that's all.
What would you do differently? The Dice thing?
I think, in all honesty, yes, I would do that differently. I would not do the national anthem thing differently. And I've fairly much said everything that I have to say about that. But with the Andrew Dice Clay thing, I suppose, in all honesty, on the one hand, I can't say that I'm opposed to censorship and, you know, things like that. If I'm, and, you know, that I'm into people like NWA and I'm into people like Two Live Crew, if I'm going to have a problem with him. And the only problem I have with him is that I think he's thick, whereas I think they're really intelligent. You know what I mean? Like, they write better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that now, if I was given the choice, I would not have withdrawn from that Saturday Night Live. Although, you know, I didn't want to cause offence to a lot of women who suffer from, you know, the kind of jokes that he makes, you know what I mean? Equally, if I were to do a record with somebody like NWA or the Two Live Crew, I'd have to be very careful what it said, you know, or what kind of things I aligned myself with publicly, you know?
Because you probably agree with many of the critics that NWA and Two Live Crew, a lot of their product is sexist.
Yeah. I mean, personally, as a girl, I like it, you know what I mean? But I can really see why it's offensive to some people, and you know, each to his own. You know.
Yeah. You said you didn't set out to achieve all this, or this for the stardom. You went after it, didn't you? I mean,
not at all.
Really?
I made a record.
Yeah. But you wanted it to succeed, and you wanted to be a star, didn't you?
No, I wanted people to hear it. I didn't want it to be a star. I don't think there's any such thing. And I just wanted to make records. I just wanted to be a singer and write songs and make records. And that's all I want to do. And I don't want to have to think about any other sort of
With you being the kind of person you are and experiencing all this backlash, did it scare you? Did Frank Sinatra being mad at you scare you?
Well, first of all, people seem to have the impression that I'm somebody who's constantly surrounded by, you know, I don't know, hatred, and, you know, that people think of me as being very aggressive. And I really don't think that that's the truth. I really think that, in general, anybody that knows of me, you know, I think the majority of people have a very affectionate attitude towards me. I don't think I'm a person that incites any sort of negative feelings in people who know of me or have read any interviews that I've ever done where I've explained my attitude towards things. As far as Frank Sinatra is concerned, it's quite an achievement at 23 years of age to have your name even go through his head, you know.
Yeah. We'll come right back with Sinead O'Connor.